Alright, I'm Maxwell, Jolayemi, and you're welcome to MCR Investigation Channel. Earlier on I have posted a video about MCR Investigation Pad One. So, I want to see how I can discuss the remaining part of what we need to know about the MCR Investigation Pad in Part 2. And like I said in Part 1, we are going to have Part 3. Part 1, Part 2 is basically theory, where I show us a way around the MCR Investigation Pad. And then Part 3 perhaps is going to be practical, where we actually engage ourselves in a brief investigation. So we had Part 1 already, and today we're going on with Part 2. So, please get a free copy of the MCR Investigation Pad from the available channel, perhaps Facebook. Just type free copy of the MCR Investigation Pad, and I'm sure you can get the pad. You will be having something like this, and I have shown us the way around it. We have looked at the possibility of his investigating a father, his life, his lifestyle, and the reality around him. And I will say we want to look out for the component that is maturity, personality type, destiny manifestation, and self-esteem in the father. And then we can do that for the daughter too. Where we look out for her maturity, personality type, destiny manifestation, and self-esteem. And we can do it for these gardeners or this group of ladies. And we could use the MCR investigation part to investigate for their life, their lifestyle or the reality they are in. And that we can do for the father and the daughter. And we say compromise call is simply trying to find out if you can get maturity in the father, personality type in the mother, destiny manifestation in the son, and self-esteem. You want to know how healthy, the father, mother, and son could be as a family. So, we've talked about the title bar, where you just put in whatever you want to investigate. Maturity score is actually trying to find out the maturity value of the daughter. Especially, let's say she's cooking. You want to know if she could really cook. And that cooking, we've discussed, is what destiny manifestation. So, you just put cooking there, and by doing that, you've configured the MCR investigation pad. And you could really know, she's a young girl or daughter, or cooking is a destiny manifestation, and self-esteem could be good. And then you could move on to look at the self-esteem as TTT, or cooking, or lost entity, or character. We'll talk about maturity, we'll be looking at character. What we're trying to do here is that, you could write a general review and say you're looking at a young girl. But then, to be specific, you'll be talking about her character. To be specific, you could have a daughter, you'll be talking about a lost entity. And then you could have cooking, cooking is cooking. And then self-esteem could be the TTT of life. It actually means test, trial, and temptation. If she feel her test, trial, and temptation is going to affect her self-esteem. And we've discussed the description bar. Now, description bar is simply the feature here, and it tried to discuss, actually describe what we're looking at, using these variables. So we've talked about the serial number. You always see it, and these are the variables. And of course, each component has variables, elements, and item. So we have 4 components of reality, 4 component of lifestyle, 4 component for life. So let's try and look at maturity as a component. When you look at the investigation part, you find maturity state, now you find right, you find ritual, you find maturity content. These are just a component of maturity on the MCR investigation pad. So that's about what we want to look at today. So when you look at maturity state, you'll be talking about 4 maturity states. We have maturity position, maturity situation, maturity therapy, and maturity condition. Actually, it goes position, situation, condition, and therapy. So you have right, we're going to explain what we meant by maturity position, maturity situation, maturity condition, and maturity therapy. Maybe later on during the investigation. Probably that will give us a more clearer view to what we invented as those 4 maturity states. So what do you mean by right? Right are simply contract, admission, permission, passage, certain things that give you right to a maturity state. Actually, maturity states are relationships. So what are those things that bring you together? A teacher and a student. That's what we mean by what? Right. What do you do when you have rights? The moment you have rights, ritual will definitely come in. So what are ritual? Ritual are redress, restitutions, and apologies. You will always need to give out when you are in a relationship or you have a right, a contract. So let's look at more. We look at maturity content. Wow, this is quite large. This is really where people assume maturity is all about. Talk about maturity, what do you call it, position, maturity initiative, and maturity control. So perhaps let's consider a maturity deposit. What do we mean by mental deposit? Now we're looking at all of this, looking at basic life knowledge. Now when you look at basic life knowledge, having information, idea, ability, and skill. And when you look at creative knowledge, you're actually having character, culture, and civilization. In further discussion, we're going to see that this character could have other, item. This culture could have other items. Civilization could have other item. And then creative maturity. You could see we're talking about natural maturity, tribal maturity, social maturity, and spiritual maturity. And we'll look at mental deposits. We can move on to look at other things like knowledge from a maturity approach. There are quite other ones. And then maturity initiative. For every maturity deposit you have, you must have a corresponding maturity initiative. Let's try to say if you have basic knowledge, you will have a basic maturity initiative. These are what you find. Item, you could say that for maturity initiative, you must have mental foundation. It will empower your mental vision, and then it will encourage your destiny manifestation. You have maturity control. Later on we're going to explain that if you see self-esteem, human mental control and self-esteem work hand in hand. Usually perhaps the self-esteem is what is hidden inside the mind, but as the mind manifests, you see the self-esteem. Well, now we have just looked at the component maturity. Now I want to look at the component personality type. So you always have 4 on the basic MCR. You have a lost entity, a growing entity, an extremist, and a traditionalist. It could be about what we've mentioned, and maturity could be something outside it. But you find someone who is lost, you find someone who is growing, you find someone who is an extremist, and you find someone who is a traditionalist. These are reality. So who is a lost person? Like I said, is lost about everything we've mentioned in maturity and everything that we've mentioned in destiny manifestation and self-esteem. Find an extremist who is equally having extremism in his character, culture, and civilization, or other things. You find a traditionalist who is objective and subjective about life or the reality around him. So destiny manifestation as a component. When you look at destiny manifestation, you always find a gift. The other time I mentioned cooking. Someone may just give you a privilege to cook. That's a gift, and then you must use that privilege very well, to function, and then you get reward. So the cooking could be a function, and then you get rewarded for your function. So we have gift. We've mentioned gift is just a privilege you get. Now function is actually the real destiny manifestation. When someone is cooking, the real destiny manifestation. So self-esteem, we have a TTT of life, that is test, try, and temptation. And then we have what do you call it, the blessing theory. Now we have the blessing theory, where people arrange their self-esteem, or people's self-esteem is seen based on their material, immaterial, human, and God connection for blessing. We have some who arrange their self-esteem, or when you approach them, what you see could be sexual, could be social, could be spiritual. And you could have certain persons who really know, understand, appreciate, and enjoy their life, or there are some who don't. There are some who don't even see what this life is all about. And there are those who are just, like we've said, we're going to be looking at who are living natural life. Naturally, they're just living. They don't really know what they're doing. And there are those who are imparting life. So, we equally want to quickly look at, on the description bar, you find 3 forms of lifestyle. That is, when you look at the MCR Investigation Pad, you realize that the first one is what? Natural lifestyle. And what the second one is what? Life orientation. And the last one is developed lifestyle. What we're trying to say is that when you find people, you find out that certain persons may, as regard this, now this middle one, the variable, certain persons may just be having natural lifestyle, certain person may be having orientation, certain person may be having what? Developed lifestyle. Well, we are ready. What should we investigate? Yeah, let's try to investigate, find out whether certain lives around us, certain lifestyles around us, certain realities around us really have this thing. Well, let's investigate anything. Well, we should not investigate me, but the reason why we can investigate myself is that you will really need to have a lot of information. I may need to leave. I may need to perform certain activities, like we saw in Destiny Manifestation. Well, we may really need to watch me for a while before we can investigate to find out the component. You too, it's about the same thing. We need to observe ourselves for a while before we can really be able to know our maturity, value, personality, destiny, manifestation, self-esteem. Well, because we are used to ourselves, we may probably be able to do that, but certain persons may not be able to do that for us. Well, we're going to investigate a movie, a stage play, a sermon, like stated earlier on, a book, and a story. Well, we are going to come up with what we call the MCR reference material. I'm going to post them probably in the next video, in the comment box. So, I could just talk about them using the MCR Investigation Pad, and if you want to cross-check, you can just go there and probably download it and read. Well, for detail again, please go here, and I can link you to the MCR MCR maturity class, and you can get the MCR Investigation Pad actually on the MCR invention on Facebook. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video. That will be part 3. Bye for now.